Welcome back, everyone. Now let's take a look at the different parameters we have, starting with the most basic. So the first two are output gain and stereo, which are pretty self-explanatory. Output gain controls the global gain of the device, and stereo determines the spread of the stereo image. So all the way down would be mono, and all the way up would be full stereo. Now we also have transposition, which, as you might imagine, sets the global transposition level of all the samples. So I'm going to be using this MIDI sequence that I have here as a way to demonstrate each of these settings. So with transposition, we have 4 octaves of range, 2 downwards and 2 upwards. This is specified in cents. Now we also have transposition variation, which sets the amount of random transposition applied to each sample. So this is basically like a way of detuning whatever MIDI input we specify. And when it's all the way up, the range of random transposition is 1 octave on either direction, up or down. Now, the transposition mode is one of those important settings in Easy Sampler. We have 4 different transposition modes. We have bypass, which basically turns off the retuning of the sample, so we would be listening to the original pitch of every sample in our corpus. Now we also have resample, which means that the transposition affects both the pitch and the original duration of the sample. So if you've ever done resampling before, you will know that with high transpositions you will get shorter durations, while with low transpositions you will get the opposite, which would be longer durations. Now, by contrast, repitch mode, which is the third transposition mode, means that the transpositions only affect the pitch of the sample while preserving its original duration. And lastly, we also have stretch and repitch, which is very similar to repitch, except the entire sample is separately either compressed or expanded in order to fit the specified duration in the device. So in other words, in this mode, duration and pitch are modified independently. Now it's also worth noting that both pitch and repitch are more repitch and stretch and repitch are more CPU intensive than resample and of course than bypass, so bear this in mind whenever you use it. Now let's move on to playback mode. So trigger mode is the one that we have been using so far in this video, and it means that it will behave like a regular sampler, meaning when you press a key or whatever incoming note we have, there will be a sample playback per note. So if we listen to this again, that's how it's behaving. Now, different to trigger mode, we also have pulse mode, in which Easy Sampler behaves more like a rhythmic synthesizer, where it will trigger a sample at a steady rate according to the pulse unit we specify. Now, something that's very important to mention is that in contrast with trigger mode, pulse mode will only work while the live transport is active. So let's say that I play a key in my virtual keyboard. I won't be able to hear anything because I need to hit play first, and then I'll be able to use whatever MIDI input I have to control the pitch of my corpus samples. Now in the next video we'll be talking more about the pulse unit specification and other things we need to consider when working in pulse mode. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.